Go! 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 All right, let's go. UFC, baby. That's right, sports are returning little by little. It feels so good. I'm so excited. Let's take a peek at what we're looking at today. We are going to be looking at two things. Number one, we're going to check out the UFC cheat sheet I have created with a player pool. I will explain how to use this for all facets of DFS. And I will also be showing you how I plan on using Fantasy Cruncher for some MME and exactly how I'm going to be setting up groups and things of that nature. So today's a big day. It's exciting. It's our first MMA. It's our first UFC card together, and there's a lot to learn. UFC is exciting, and my goodness, it is a very interesting GPP sport where the majority of the points are pretty much baked into the winner. So you have to basically pick 6 out of 6 correct fighters on DraftKings if you're going to be screeching towards the top of the standings in a tournament. If you don't do that, if you don't get 6 out of 6, there's a good chance you ain't getting anywhere close to taking down a tournament. Now, for a lot of the picks for this weekend, there are fights where there's some clear-cut winners, but I don't know if they're going to be the types of wins where they rack up a bunch of fantasy points. So you're also looking at trying to find which winners that have a massive ceiling. So not only do you need to have 6 out of 6 correct, you need to have some of these big guns in there. A guy like Tim Elliott scoring 140 points per victory could be huge, but he's also 3-7 in his last 10 fights. So there's a lot of things we're going to highlight. We're going to discuss exactly how to take advantage of some of these things, and then we'll do some MME and kind of break down how I plan on MMEing it. Now, I was supposed to say this earlier, as some of my YouTube friends who do this and watch this often, go ahead and if you like free content every single day, I already posted a Cincinnati Bengals NFL video team profile this morning, and now you've got a UFC live stream going on for all things daily fantasy sports. Hit that subscribe button. Use that like button down in the corner there. That gives me great impressions. I guess it's supposed to boost me up the SEO or something. So if you want to support just free content in general, please hit that subscribe button. That is a great help. If you'd like this cheat sheet today, it's all yours. ours. Just down below in the description section, it's the very top link. It says free MMA or free UFC cheat sheet. Click that link, open that link up, and you can follow along today as I break down all of these fights, kind of highlight how I plan on using this scorecard, or using this cheat sheet for Saturday night's card. Cool. All right. And as usual, if there's anybody who has any questions, by all means, chime in. I am going to lower my, let me do that. It's been a hot second. So let me lower my webcam. Oh, yeah, that's much better. Does that look better? That looks better, doesn't it? Is it live yet? Let me see here. Good enough. All right, cool. So you got the cheat sheet, and then we'll do some Fantasy Cruncher, MMA. We'll look at 20 max and 150 max. We're going to talk about creating a group. That is our very first thing we're going to do in FC today. So the first thing I want you to recognize is this risers column. Now for NASCAR, it was basically like, who do I feel the best about? It's pretty much going to be the same thing for all cards. It's my confidence level. For the UFC card here, all of these guys shaded green are not only guys and girls, and 2 female fights here, as these are the fighters I think are going to win. They're going to outright win the day. So when you're looking at this cheat sheet down below in the description section, go ahead and click that. You get this for free. You can follow along. And if you're looking at this, you're seeing, oh, okay, Mitch loves Mackenzie Dern, thinks she's going to win. Roosevelt, Casey, Woodley, these people are the people I pick to win the fights outright. So if you're looking for the picks, it's the risers column. If you're looking for more strategy-based stuff, it's going to be these columns right here. Now, I wanted to explain one thing between MME and small GPP. Now, MME, you see, you're like, dang, dude, that's a big grouping. Well, here, let me show you something. So we're going to go over to Fantasy Cruncher before we even talk about these fights, because I want this to be extremely clear, abundantly clear for all those that watch this video for the first half or first third. What I've done is I've gone ahead and put in all of my risers, and I said I want every single one of these in a group. So these are my 10 people I picked to win. The Tim Elliott fight is the only one I just don't know. I don't know what I want to do there, so I don't have them in my risers. Click this little arrow. Add selected to group. Create new group. So what I've done here, this is my risers column, my risers group, and I am going to ask for, I'm going to try to get 5. Let's see if salary restrictions stop me. But what this basically says is 5 out of all 6 fighters, 6 spots in my DraftKings lineup, 5 of them are going to come from this category where I think these are the winners. Remember, you need 6 winners. So I'm going to have at least 5 in each. Now, after that, I'm totally okay with anybody from the MME column popping up as the 6th. That doesn't mean that will happen. There's a good chance that you'll get 6 out of 6 fighters from the risers category if salary will allow that to happen. Now, I'm leaving out some players in my actual player pool who I think have no chance of winning. So I'm going to enable this group in FC. I'm going to go down, and now I'm going to actually add in the fighters that I want involved in MME, but I'm going to leave out the ones that I don't think have any chance of providing any type of value. Like Hannah Cyphers. I think she's going to get dominated. Louise Smolka, dominated. Gabriel Green, dominated. All right. So, now, if we were to go down here, let's say we're doing 20 lineups. Just let it rip, see how it goes. Okay, so out of all my lineups, I got at least 5 of my risers category, which were the people I was most confident in. And if you're like, oh, dang, that actually worked out really, really well, we can go up to our groups, go back to advanced options, and let's try it. Let's see if we can get some lineups where we have all 6 of my picks in the lineups. Because remember, you have to win 6 out of 6 for DraftKings. Okay, cool. So 10 out of the 20. If I were to roll out a 20 max file, I could have 10 of my 20 lineups have only my risers. That is fantastic. Let me bookmark, timestamp this. How long am I into this stream? I'm going to have to mark this for people later. All right, sweet. Okay, so the 10-minute mark just about. You can get half of your lineup. So at this point, we only need 10 more lineups. We can now drop this down from at least 6 to 5. Okay, so now we'll have 5. If you wanted to do it differently and say, okay, well, no, instead of that, this time I want Dern, Casey Kenny, Daniel Rodriguez. By the way, he is highlighted green because I want 100% exposure to Daniel Rodriguez this weekend. I think he's just a lock and load play. So maybe you can do this. You can lock him in. Now we set it to 5. All right, there we go. So we got 19 out of 20 for Daniel Rodriguez. Bang, 20 lineups that quick. All I did was use the risers column. That was the only one I needed. I set it to a group saying I want 5 or more of the risers in every single lineup, and I hammered it out. My advanced options also were under general. I had 2 uniques. I wanted 5% randomness. I did not want any 2 fighters from the same fight. You need the win for trying to take down a tournament. You can't have 2 fighters in there. You can't take a loss. There will be lineups in MME where there are lineups that have all 6 fighters, and there's no way you're going to beat any lineup that has 6 wins in their lineup if you only have 4 or 5 of them. So I will never, ever allow fighters from the same fight. It's just not going to happen. All right, so that's pretty much how I'm going to do things through FanScruncher. If you're still watching right now or you watch this later, please hit that like button and hit the subscribe button because I do daily NFL season long, fantasy football season long. I do daily DFS live streams, MME, single entry cash games. I break down my cheat sheets, all this stuff. So I'm going to go over these notes real quick, and we're going to kind of talk about some of these fights, and then I will do most of the coaching, building lineups together. There's a lot of single entry players as well in Discord. And if you want to sign up today, down below there's a Patreon link. Go ahead and click that link, and if you sign up today, I will refund you in full for the finish of May. So if you sign up for the Legends, $20, $24, whatever you do, or even just the sheets, you want to do the risers category, and without the coaching, without the Discord community, you can do that, and I will refund you. And that way you pretty much have free access to content for Bundesliga, which is tomorrow. That is already dropped. You'll have this as well, and NASCAR on Sunday. And then on June 1st, everything will kick in on your own dime. So that's for you guys. Thanks for your support. I want to give back some way I can at the end of June here. All right, so Gilbert Burns versus Tyrone Woodley. Woodley, welterweight champ for almost 3 years. Gilbert Burns, he's on a heater. 5 straight wins. So we've kind of got a little bit of an unknown with Woodley coming back to the UFC. What kind of fighter is he going to be here? The thing that really breaks it down for me is just Woodley has been in so many big fights, and Gilbert Burns really has not. And in a fight like this, where you've got a guy trying to come back and pretty much campaigning to get a rematch against Kamaru Usman, then, I'm going to go with that guy who has the fight pedigree over a long career and has been in many, many big fights. I know the age might be a slight factor, but I'm going with Woodley and the experience. Woodley ends up actually being one of my picks that is in cash games, small field tournaments, MME, and of course the risers column because I pick him for a victory. Okay, next one up. This is going to be a very interesting fight this weekend, and I think that it's going to potentially might be the fight of the entire card. These two big boys going at it. We've got a fighter that can absolutely land some bombs, and in this very small octagon, 25 foot instead of the normal 35, I think that Augusto really has the edge here, and I think if they're just going to be in the middle, the striking ability of Augusto is going to be solid, and the reach advantage of 4 full inches is big for him. It's big. He's got 11 KOs and 14 fights, and he's got a very strong takedown defense. On the the flip side, Blagoy has never been knocked out. Never been knocked out. So what are you going to get here? Vegas, the odds are split right now. They're even. The price on DraftKings, 8,200 versus 8K. I think this is going to be a very difficult fight to pick the winner. And I think that this might be one of those where you probably get one of these guys at a lower ownership because people just don't know what to do with this fight because it's so evenly matched. So if we're looking at maybe like some ownership projections or so, maybe you can get Augusto at a lower ownership. I'm trying to look at these, 31%. Well, that's not terribly low. Okay, and then Blagoy at 16%. So if you're going to play ownerships, then I guess you're going to go with Ivanov. I'm going with the straight winning pick, which I think is going to be Augusto due to that striking ability in the middle of the ring and that takedown defense. So look at it this way. Maybe if you want to build lineups around a large field tournament, maybe do 150 max, I'm surely going to want some exposure to both sides. Not in the same lineup, of course. We already discussed that. Maybe double your exposure on the lower projected owned Blagoy Ivanov, and then go with Augusto Sakai in small field tournaments. All right, so maybe you have an opportunity to grab a guy who you think has a better possibility of winning the fight. Use him in smaller single entry tournament, maybe a 300 entry. You enter one of those like $12, 289 entrants, stuff like that. I think maybe that's the play. Just kind of thinking aloud and strategizing. All right, so here's Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod, lock and load. This guy is an absolute beast. Thank you. I see people hitting that like button down there. I actually see a few subscribers already on YouTube as well. Thank you very much for that. That means a lot to me. Huge support. It makes me happy to continue doing the free content. Again, if you just tuned in or maybe you fast forwarded, you can have this cheat sheet today. Down below in the description section, it's the first link. Just click it. It's all yours. I want you to have it. And best of luck. Try to win some money. If you do well, tag me on Twitter at DFS and Donuts and holler at me and say I used it. And, I'll give you a nice retweet. So D-Rod, I think, is going to dominate this fight. The guy is a beast. He's very good at literally everything. He's a great all-around fighter. 10 of his 11 fights, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was 4 submissions out of his 10. And he had, I want to say, 4 TKOs and 2 knockouts. Ridiculous. The kid is the dude is so good. And if you're looking at this fight going the distance, he's 1-on-1 in those fights. He did lose. He lost one going the full, I think it was a 5-round fight. And do I think it's going to happen against Gabe Green? I do not. I think that D-Rod is going to absolutely explode. I think he has potential to be one of the highest scoring fighters on the slate. And at 7.3K, he seems like he's just an absolute stone cold lock. Ownership projection here. Let me see this. 67%. I mean, it looks like the projections are on him over here in FC. But I mean, to lock him in, just go overweight. I'm going 20 out of 20, 19 out of 20 I showed. If you do 150 max, don't be afraid, okay? Have the edge on every single lineup by locking them in, and anybody who didn't have him in there, those lineups are dead. At least they're not going to be winning the tournament. They might be able to, 2 times ROI, but you're not going to win it without a guy who could score 120, 130. All right. Roosevelt Roberts, I saw people talking about Brock Weaver here being an upset factor, but I just don't see it. Roosevelt was dismantled a couple fights ago, and I think he's going to, he looked great in his last fight, getting back on track against Alexander Yakovlev, and I just feel like this is going to be one of those fights where Roosevelt can rack up some points. I don't like his pricing at 9.2K for Roosevelt. I actually think Brock Weaver in large field MMEs has some appeal due to his propensity to have some big fights, right? Like when he wins, you're getting a win of 115, 120 points, and that could be a major upset with the Predator being such large favorite right now, minus 360 last time we updated this a couple days ago. So check those odds. Man, the likes keep coming in. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your support. All right, again, this is free for all the new people watching. Just down below in the description section. Just take it, man. All right, so down here, we're going with Mackenzie Dern. Cash lock Mackenzie Dern. 4 submission wins in her 9 there. Grapple game's fantastic. Hannah Cipher struggles there, and I think that once they get to the mat, Mackenzie's just going to eat her up. I could see this one ending in the first round, early second round or so. So Mackenzie Dern, she's not only my riser pick to win the fight, MME, small field, cash lock, and she's one of my core fighters. Her and D-Rod are 2 fighters that I kind of want to rotate around in all contests this weekend. All right, this is an interesting one. So Caitlin just lost to her sister not too long ago, and Antonina's. Antonina's not as good as fighter as her sister. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I do still think she's got the edge here. And I think with the ring being smaller, it's a 25-foot ring. A fighter like Caitlin that relies on those redonkulous kicks. She's got such a good kicking game. If she can, close the distance with a couple of those kicks there to the jaw or something, it's over immediately. But I don't think she's going to be able to. I think Antonina is going to be able to get inside. She's going to be able to get inside that kicking range, clinch up, take her down. 2 knockouts in 8 fights. Antonina is just she's a more accurate striker. Chukagian is really looking for that big knockout kick, and I don't know if she's going to get it. So I'm going Antonina. I think that this is another fight where people could go with Caitlin as the underdog here and rack up some MME points. Again, that's also why we're leaving someone like Caitlin in our player pool, even though we're not targeting her. And you can see Antonina here down here at 50% exposure, and we still have a little bit of hedge of our investment here with Caitlin down here at 1 out of our 20 lineups. All right, this is going to be an interesting fight. So I was looking at some betting and stuff, and it looks like I am on the underdog big time here with Spike Carlisle and the Alpha Ginger. These nicknames are so silly. I freaking love them. What's up, Greg? Always liking. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. This is one of those spots where I feel like this is where I'm going to win a tournament on a pick like this, where, the field's going to be on Billy here, where his ownership's going to be high. I can leverage that ownership by using the underdog, picking the underdog, and use him at a high rate. Now, let's take a peek real quick at what my initial run-through was. Spike Carlisle, 13. That's beautiful. That's what I'm looking for. I want to leverage some of this ownership down here. And what are their projected ownerships here? Spike at 31%, Billy at 45%. So you can leverage that a little bit here. If you're looking at half the lineups are going to have Billy, and if I have 65% of my lineups there, that means if Spike were to dominate this fight, wins it outright, 13 of my lineups are immediately ahead of 45% of the field if those ownership projections are right. So now it's just my 13 out of 20, in a 20 max, my 13 lineups with Spike Carlisle in it are against the other whatever his ownership would be, 31% of the field. So the field is completely cut down, and now it's just me versus a third of the people left for the top 18% to cash out. And I'll take my odds that I'm going to be better. All right, so Spike, pretty much just going to come to the significant strikes, man. This guy can drop some freaking bombs. Just dominated Elon Cruz in an 85-second fight. Ended in stoppage. Spike has 8 stoppages in his career. Now, I know that Tio is also a brawler, man. This kid's good. He has 5 straight stoppage wins as well. I think this one's actually not going to end in a stoppage, though. I think these guys are going to be going toe-to-toe for most of the fight. I think that both of them are going to land some big blows. I think it's going to be a very exciting fight. But I think that Spike has a chance to either win extremely late, 5th round or so, or he's going to win when it goes to decision. So that's one of my big upset. That's one of my large field MME picks. And if you watch long enough, or you end up using this cheat sheet or my picks this weekend, by all means, tag me if this ends up going well. Tyler, what's up, man? D-Rad only 13 on FanDuel. Again, lock him in. Don't worry about ownership when it comes to some of these fights. Only time I would worry about ownership in UFC if it's going to be a spot where somebody is extremely highly projected owned who is going to be a volatile fight, like Tim Elliott. If he's going to be a projected ownership at 50%, when the guy's only won 3 out of his last 10 fights, that's probably a time where I don't pick Tim Elliott, a very volatile spot, even though he has massive upside. So pay attention to the ownership stuff and fade them when they're going to be highly owned and they're a volatile fighter. That's pretty much how I'm going to leverage that ownership. Some of these fights also, I want to also discuss this. Even though I have 10 picks here, you do not have to include all 10 fights in your pool. You don't have to have all 10 risers. If you break this down, you do your own, maybe you have your own resources as well, and you're like, well, Mitch, I like 8 of your 10 picks, and we both agree on 8 of them, just use those 8. There's no reason why you have to make decisions on every single fight. Guys, girls, you can basically just not choose anybody from fights. You don't have to have a piece from every game. You don't go out of your way in MLB and have, in a 12-game slate in MLB, you're not getting 24 different team stacks in there. Or, you're not getting exposure to 24 teams. You pick your spots, so you're not going to have exposure to everybody, and that's totally okay. All right, let's keep going here. I'm trying to make this fast. So I usually try to have 10-minute videos, but this one's a little bit longer because it's our first MMA ever breaking down together. All right, so Tim Elliott, man, wins with an average of 140 DK points, 3-7 in his last 10 fights. Royval has never fought in the UFC. I want action on both. In the large field tournaments. I have no clear-cut preference. Probably just a few shares of each. I think that, you're going to get a spot here where somebody's going to score a bunch of points for you. I just don't know who that's going to be. Tim Elliott, the favorite right now. Let's go look at his ownership projection here. Tim Elliott, 34%. Brandon Royval, 20%. So no clear edge here by targeting or fading one or the other. Large field. This is something I want to talk about in depth a little bit more in Discord. Legends channel. Remember, my Legends members get a lot of coaching. How many Legends are we up to? Let's take a quick peek. 35 offline, 12. So we're up to 47 Legends already. Okay, cool. I think I had that capped at 50 or something. Awesome. Oh man, a couple more likes down there. You guys are a couple more subscribers too. What is this? You guys are too nice. You are too nice. Thank you very much for the support. Constant support, man. The YouTube community is wild. I love the YouTube community. It's so new to me, and it's exciting. It's really fun. You guys are cool. All right, this is one of those fights where, I'm fading Luis Smolka. I think he's going to get dominated. Casey Kenny's going to rack up 120 points here. Smolka's 1-2 since his return into the UFC after being cut in 2018. Kenny had won 6 straight before losing his last fight. I think he kind of gets back on the wagon here. Is that the right? 9.1K. I think that, minus 270 favorite. Oh my goodness. I think we updated those on Wednesday. So check the odds. I'll update this as well before Saturday night for you. I think Casey Kenny is going to obliterate Luis Smolka here. First round, maybe second round. 120 points, and I have Casey Kenny in core, cash, small field tournaments, MME, and he's one of my risers picked to win the fight. I think we're getting to the end here. Yep, last one. All right, this is another one where it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a close fight. Chris Gutierrez versus Vince Morales. Gutierrez 5-1 in his last 6 fights. Morales just 3-3. Interesting spot. I've seen it around the industry doing some research, looking at ownerships, looking at projections, and this one seems like right down the middle. I'm not too sure anybody. And if you're looking at the FC projections here, let's open this up full page here. Now 13% for Chris, 16% for Morales. It's going to be tough, right? It's going to be tough to decide who to go with. And this is what it pretty much has been around the industry. We got a 52.6% projected win opportunity here, or win chance for both. 52.6, 52.9 here. I mean, that's you're splitting hairs here. It's one of those spots similar to Tim Elliott where you're going to have an opportunity to get a lot of points in a large field tournament, but I don't know which one to go with. And I should probably change this. This will update on your end as well. Guys like this, fighters like this where you don't know what you're going to get, Gutierrez and where is Morales, I don't want to target them in small tournaments. I just want these people in large field tournaments. Where's Royval's in large field? Okay. Cool. All right. That's it. It's all 11. Wow, we broke that down fast. All right, cool. That was fun. I mean, how could you not be excited about this? Greg Ball, what's up, man? I am not a legend. You are a legend, actually, like a legitimate legend. I talk to you all the time in Discord, so in the Legends channel. Thank you very much for my FC fam. I hope that we can win some money together doing some MME this weekend. It's going to be exciting. I mean, it's 6 p.m. and it's on ESPN. I mean, it's not late. It's right on ESPN. Nobody has to pay for a pay-per-view. I think that you're going to have a ton of people watching this. It's going to be extremely exciting this weekend. Again, this is a free content that I posted in the description below. So please click on that link, check it out, grab this one right here, and you guys can get free. Anybody who subscribes this weekend, I will refund you for May, and you will get a normal charge June 1st for the month of June. But if you do that now, you'll have the Bundesliga cheat sheet for tomorrow, soccer slate, which is looking nice. You'll also have the MMA sheet with analysis. You'll have access to Discord. You'll also have the sheet for NASCAR and all the Discord lineup building sessions and exclusive content. So you literally get in for free. I'm going to refund you for May. Great stream as per usual. Hey, Rachel, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. I'm making a lot of new friends on YouTube, which has been very exciting. Switching over from Twitch, being off streams for about 2 months due to the pandemic, and I moved right when the pandemic kind of started, so I just fell off the map, and I'm back now, and my YouTube footprint, it's small. I think I'm up to 800 something followers, and that's largely built over the last couple of weeks because of you guys. So thank you so much for the subscriptions. Thank you for the like buttons, the sharing, all that stuff. Whatever, all that stuff helps me out. Thank you very much for your support. I'm very humbled by it, and that's kind of why I want to give back and refund people to enjoy MMA, NASCAR, and Bundesliga this weekend. All right, take care, everybody. I will see you in Discord, and together